Hello Trade Pros, this is Victor from TRADEPRO Academy. Welcome to our channel and welcome to a new video series that we're starting today. As you may know from the title itself, we're going to be doing a trade wrap-up. We're going to be talking about some nice gains today and some losses even, because again, nobody's perfect, and we are going to wrap up the week. And in this video series, we're going to be talking about numerous different topics from market breadth to order flow coming into the options market, stocks, and more things to watch out for. So without further ado, let us jump into this intro and let's go ahead with this video. Before we start, I want you guys to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ring that little bell to notify you when we go live for George's morning update, where he drops news every single day to help you guys trade in the markets. I also want to mention that if you are new to this channel, we do have a free trading room on our platform community.tradeproacademy.com. There you can join us for some in-depth analysis on a daily basis. If you want access to the other rooms, go ahead and check out tradeproacademy.com/pricing. So let's go ahead and get started with this series and this video. And today, before I talk about the trades and what we did this week, we had a lot of updates, and we share a lot of those updates with you guys on Twitter, in the community as well, in that free community, and for our paying members as well. So we drop a list of options ideas every morning for you guys to take a look at and decide what may be a mover, what may not be a mover, but we drop down a list of 3 to 5 options that we anticipate to be good movers, and we jump on the mic every single day to talk about different movers and what the opportunities are and trade ideas that we do take with our live room. So before we get into a lot of that, I want to bring up the market breadth here. It's going to be right beside me. And there's a few things to note. Now you can see a number in around the low 800s. This is the total market breadth for the sectors in the S&P 500. And what we see through this is when we near the 1,000 mark or the 1,100 mark, we get into an overbought territory. Now you can see that in the graph in the oscillator here at the top. And we are in the 800s, right? We're kind of close to 1,000, kind of close to 1,100. And what we see from this is there are certain sectors that lead others. Now, what's important to note before we dissect this is that, yeah, it is an oscillator. That means it can stay in that overbought territory for a decent amount of time before we drop. This past week, we saw the S&P 500 futures break through 4,000, even 4,040, I believe. We touched that area on Friday after a good non-farm report, and we saw the SPY actually tag above 400, even 401 it broke after hours. So pretty joyous market, and markets do not only rocket ship to the upside, there are pullbacks, and when we get to that overbought territory in the breadth, I look at what sectors are overbought, so maybe we can transition from those into maybe oversold sectors. So you can see technology, which was not the leader, is now at the top of this list, 96 score on technology, and that could stay up there, but the closer it gets to 100, the more you see outflow of money coming out. Now remember, it was the quarter end, so that means there was a lot of rebalancing, and tech did not do that hot this past quarter, especially towards the end. So there was a big buy up that saw that ramp into the end of the quarter. With tech, there are still a lot of names that are a little oversold, where we could see more money flowing in, and that's exactly what we saw. On Friday, we saw unusual options activity on things like Microsoft, Apple, larger tech names. So there is money flowing back into tech that we saw leave. So those are a few names to watch out for, Microsoft and Apple, in the coming weeks and days. And we saw Facebook lead the charge on the tech sector last week. That's why it was one of our favorite things to trade, as we broke 300 on it. Now, other things to note on the breadth indicator here is that industrials have been pretty hot, and that was because of the proposed infrastructure reform from Biden. We've also got utilities hanging up there, which are typically risk-off plays in the general market. But again, we could see a lot more upside in the next few weeks as money starts flowing back into a lot of these sectors. But it's very important to note that we were in the low 700s not too far along before we got to this area. So tech alone has rallied this market pretty aggressively. In the previous session, so on Thursday, the breadth indicator was telling us that we were around 740, so you can see how fast it changes. If we get a drastic drop, we have a buy level that you can see. We've seen a hunting area on the oscillator there. But in general, we're seeing a slight sector rotation yet again into stocks that have been beaten up in terms of growth and tech. So those are a few names to keep a lookout on. I also like airlines. Airlines is another thing to go by, because if the vaccines continue at the current pace, we're going to see a lot of money start flowing back into airlines yet again. We had an airline surge recently and a reopening surge, and this is going to continue as long as we get that rally coming in to the market and we get that vaccine rollout. Their expectations are by May that names like AAL, UAL are going to come back to their pre-COVID levels in terms of price. So those are things to look out for this week as well. They're going to get a lot of hype. Now, other things that got a lot of order flow were pins and other growth names. So pins and apps, those are some of my favorite stocks to trade. They're getting a lot of order flow coming in. Pins for 85 calls. Apps had some flow, but apps is a good grower. I'm not sure exactly what apps' flow was, but pins was very, very good to the growth side. We're getting a lot of news in terms of Tesla and other tech names that are getting a lot of love. So euphoria is coming back into the market, and those are a few things that I'm going to watch out for in the coming week. Now, a lot of things can change by the Monday reopen, but as it stands right now, we're looking for some tech rally to come back into this market, and also semiconductors. Semiconductors have been getting a lot of love. TSM and SMH are on the top of my list. Go check those out. But as we wrap up with this breadth analysis, we're going to be doing that every week here. I want to just throw in a few trades for you guys that we took as a team. I took myself in the community. I'm going to start off with a Wednesday screenshot of SPY. So we had interesting market conditions this past week and the week before, because there's a lot of money flowing out of the market in terms of retail volume. We were spoiled before. We're near highs. We got sideways movement. Options thetas got burned, people's strategies were put into question, but we still had a lot of opportunity, a lot of trades. We just had to find it. So I'm going to throw up a picture of the SPY here. On Wednesday, we'll break it down. We see that there is a strong rally off the open on the SPY here on Wednesday on a 5-minute chart. And I'm thinking bullish because we had that pre-market break. We broke the pre-market tops throughout the opening session. I'm trying to buy that dip back into the pre-market low area where we got some 5-minute candles showing up. But again, to my demise, I wasn't really noticing other indicators that I was using, like the crossing of the averages and the just general structure, and ended up taking a stop on the first trade. Quickly flipping on the pullback here to the 20 EMA. To the put side, we bought some puts as a team looking for the downside. But again, it's super choppy. We get a move down, then it bursts back up, a move down, burst back up. The theta was just getting burned. So we took a smaller win on that, even though we managed to trail at a decent bit. Now, I can't exactly find the images for the trades for the SPY. I don't know why, but I've got the trades for Tesla and Facebook this time. Next time around, I'm going to make sure to have all those trades up for you. But these are the charts that I was using. And later in the day, we saw that shift in momentum where we broke the structure. Remember, structure is super key, reading that price action, and held our other indicators like averages, where we took some calls to close out a strong session on the SPY on Wednesday. Now, we also had a little blip, so 2 winners, 2 losers that day. I was looking for the long continuation on that last trade where that red X and red arrow are, because we came back into a key support zone, but we failed to make a new high, and we took a loss on that. Now, there was a lot more SPY trading throughout the week, but it was very uneventful, so I'm just going to kind of bypass that. Around 20 to 15% gainers on the SPY throughout the week. Not too crazy, not too bad. But the more important names that we were watching were Facebook and Tesla. Facebook was amazing this week because the movement was there. It just shot up to the upside. It was very easy to catch, and it was very easy to read and see what the direction was. There was a lot of Facebook calls coming in, repeat sweeps on Facebook calls, which we mentioned in the room if you want access to info like that. And there's more calls, speaking of tech and tech buying, there's more calls coming in on Facebook for later expiries along with the SPY. So those are 2 things to watch out for next week. But Facebook was great to us. Tesla got beaten up and we were looking for that reversal, which we got. Great news out of NIO, which bolstered Tesla. Tesla's sales in China doing well. Also, Tesla's deliveries just came out today, expected to do well and better than anticipated, 185 versus 180,000 to be delivered. So everything's going well. We could see another gap up on Tesla to come out on Monday, but for an overvalued stock, it has a lot of opportunity and volatility. So let's go ahead and look at Facebook first. We had 2 days of trading Facebook, and then we'll look at Tesla. So on the screen, I'm going to throw the 5-minute chart on Facebook first. You can see we pretty much open and hold the pivot time and time again. That is an area for me, a no-brainer after we get a jolt up that we're going to be looking for some calls. And we didn't manage to trail it all the way up, but this was a near 100% gainer that we announced with our team in the room. And we even announced it at community.tradeproacademy.com as one of our watch list names. Now you can see we took some profit on some of the way up. But I'm going to throw up on the screen right now the actual trades based on the options contract. Now, I like to buy cheaper options, to be honest, because I can buy more of them. If they're not available, if I have to go too far out the money on a weekly contract, it's not worth it. So on names like the SPY, I generally go around $1 per contract. On Facebook, maybe around $1 if I can get it. Maybe around $2 if I can't. But generally, between $1 and $2, I like to load up as long as they're not super out the money with a crappy delta. So this is the chart here on Facebook, the trades that we actually took. This was posted again throughout our socials, but the entry was just around $1.05, like 105 bucks per contract. We loaded up. I usually trade like 10 to 15 contracts if they are $1 each. So I just put in $1,000 worth of premium, around $1,500 worth of premium. I take the trades out incrementally, right? My first target is around 25% on a few, and then 35, so on and so forth, and try to trail the last 2 to 3 contracts to see how much we can squeeze out of it. Now, the last contract was taken out just shy of 190 here, you guys can see, which is just shy of a 90% gain from the bottom, but on average about 70% gainer on this one. We did well with that one, and we had another Facebook trade on Friday. It wasn't as glorious, but there was still the opportunity there. So I'm going to throw up the Facebook chart from Friday. It looks a lot uglier, but what we were doing was waiting for that burst to the upside, which we missed kind of off the open. Facebook, the strength in the general market was just telling us buy it off the open. We missed that, but when it pulled back and held a certain EMA as we resisted, as expected, the R2 area, when it pulled back and held a certain support, we just started loading in, anticipating the breakout of the wedge that you can see here. But again, the wedge was not broken, so we just had to take our profit and run. This gainer wasn't as great, but around 25 to 30%, right? So we announced that as well. It was in the room, but take a look here. These are the trades. Nothing too crazy, about $1 again on the entry, and 10 to 15 contracts. I don't remember exactly what this one was, but the first one was taken out at 20%, then 25%, and the last one finally at about 40% gain. So we did pretty well on this one. And then finally, I just want to show you guys the Tesla one. Tesla was great. The structure was clean as hell on Friday. It had a lot of movement throughout the day, and it got less sleepier as the week went on, so it interested us very well. So here's the chart of Tesla. It looks amazing. You can see a pop off the open. This is a 5-minute chart. Pull back into that same area where we popped off, held that support, had some rotation, and we picked it up for those longs for that continued move. It's just super clean. Break a top, pull back to the top, break a top, pull back to the top. Simple structure with key levels helps us in this market, and it helps us identify trades like these. So this was Tesla on Thursday, actually, and here is the trade itself. So we took a position around $8.50 per contract, so 850 bucks. We just took 3, right? Just under 3 grand of the whole premium, and taking on average about 30% of the gain. I think it was about a $700 winner for the 2.6 grand put down. So around 30%, I think that is. And that was a great little move. Now, we had a lot of moves on Tesla on Friday even, right? These aren't posted here, but we had a lot of Tesla movement on Friday, and on Fridays, Tesla contracts are cheaper. Lotto Fridays that we love to play, and there's a lot more opportunity. Yeah, it gets jumpy, but you can get Tesla contracts for about $1, load up the size, and watch the thing scream. So if you guys enjoyed this and want to see more of these, hit that like button, guys. Hit that subscribe button and ring that little bell to notify you when we do go live. If you guys want a sneak peek of our room where we drop nuggets like these, trades like these, check out community.tradeproacademy.com, where myself, Sarah, George, and Mark talk about different markets and give you guys ideas just like these. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And remember, next week, keep an eye out on things like semis, TSM, SMH. Keep an eye out on Pinterest and tech names, as we're seeing a lot of love coming in on those. We're gonna do some breadth analysis next time as well and see what we come up with. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you all next time. Drop a comment down below what you thought and if you'd like to see more.